Welcome everybody, my name is Poison Ducky and today we're going to have a Total War Warhammer 2 replay. I'll be playing as the Lizardman representing Talaquia, and this is a 2 versus 2. It's me versus with the Skaven Clan Skyer new DLC versus the Armies of Men, the Empire and the Bretonnia faction. Over here in my army, I will have I have a very skirmish-heavy army, and I named this army the Skink Party. I have no real front line with 5 units of Skink cohorts with javelins. Now, these units are skirmishers. They have a ranged javelin. There are only 3 attacks, and they are decent in melee for being missile infantry. In fact, they have the exact same stats as Skink cohorts without javelins. So, supporting them will be my Regiment of Renown Red-Crested Skinks, the cohort of Sotek, my only real melee infantry in this entire army. And since I've chosen to go such a skirmish-heavy army that is very weak to cavalry charges, I went with anti-cavalry Cold One Spear cavalry units. Now these are anti-large or anti-cavalry, my own cavalry of course, more like Raptor cavalry I suppose. I have 3 units of this, and I have also the Regiment Renown version, the Puk Hopek cohort, which will not go on Rampage when they get low. Now my lord is going to be Tic-Tac-Toe, followed by a Skink Priest of Beasts to be my magic, and my my Ripperdactyl Riders, the Regiment Renown as well, with the Colossodon Hunters. These are going to be my air corps for whenever I need to kill enemy air, or if I just need to kill any large units. I also have some skirmisher flying units with the Pahawk Sentinels. I'm going definitely for an air superiority play with my army. And of course I have 2 little Skink skirmishers on the left here, just in case I can go flank and get some shots into the enemy. My Skaven ally has brought 3 Warlock I, which are the sniper unit. It's going to be quite fantastic. They have 300 range and essentially can fire at the enemy army from this position. He also has artillery in the front line to get some great harass and fire. His lord is just going to be a simple warlord, but that's okay. And he has a small front line of plague monks, clan rats, the Regiment of Renown version with fire swords, and another plague monks. To support his front line of infantry, he has 3 units of rat ogres. Monstrous infantry that can pretty much deal damage to anything. With that being said, the army that... Oh, of course, I can't forget. My teammate also brings 2 units of Doom Flayers. These new unit that's spicy chariot units that can run through enemies. Now, looking at the enemy army, we're having a very standard Empire and very standard Bretonnian army, actually. They have a front line of handgunners. Of course, their ranged power. They need to fight against our range somehow. But the interesting thing that the Empire brings is 3 units of the Hellstorm rocket battery. We're going to see that a lot, and they're going to explode a lot of our units. But I don't know if it's going to pay off. The general they have is going to be Karl Franz, and Bretonnia is going to bring King Leon Leoncoeur. Of course, and some halberds to fight the giant units or dinosaurs I brought. Too bad I didn't bring any large units, such as Carnosaurs or Stegodons. And of course, the Bretonnian Bretonnian cavalry. God, Bretonnia would be so mad because they're actually French, and they hate the British. So, Knights of the Realm and Grail Knights. Now, the Bretonnians actually did something quite cheeky. They put 2 units of mounted yeomen in the corners of the map to have us flanked right off of the bat in the game. It's going to be pretty dangerous for us, but let's see how it goes. All right, the battle starts, and we're going to see some heavy artillery fire. Skinks! My poor Skinks! Alright, with the Skinks artillery getting hammered to death, I actually move back a little bit so that I can regroup with my teammate. As we do actually have the advantage in ranged power, I believe, with the Warlock Jezzails and the Javelins on my side. I push forward with his Doom Flayers. Now this is going to be very dangerous against him. Now on the other side, excuse me, my Skink skirmishers will be moving forward, but Bretonia brings his cavalry over onto the left side. So I will be mostly dealing with the Bretonian cavalry here, while Empire is going to be focusing a lot on the fight against the Skaven Empire. God. This game is so pretty. Bretonia sends over their king over to attack my skirmishing flying units, but he made a grave mistake because I have my goon squad of flying units. With the power of all of my flying units against his one, I will rule the skies and take down his lord. With the push of the Bretonian cavalry, they have unfortunately taken out, well, they haven't quite taken out yet, but they're pressuring my poor Skink skirmishers. But that's when I put my plan, my anti-cavalry versus his anti-cavalry. My Cold One Riders versus the Grail Knights. Bretonian cavalry are very powerful, and they will win this fight. But at least they're going to distract them from attacking my own Skinks. Now over here on the right side, we see that the Skaven have successfully pushed in the Doom Flares into the enemy force and are currently mulching through the enemy infantry, while I support with poison Skink cohorts. We have successfully routed the enemy lord, and they're going to take major leadership attacks. Unfortunately, we cannot deal with the Hellstorm rocket batteries, as they are withering our units. An enemy unit tries to contest my Skinks with javelins, but this is what happens. You get tons of little spears thrown at you and you lose your units. I use some magic here to weaken their enemies. And it's quite clear that we have the air superiority of the match. Unfortunately, Bretonian cavalry are going to destroy anything they touch. It's apparent that I lose the left flank over here. Unfortunately, my Cold One Spear Riders did lose against Bretonia, which was to be expected, but they just lost a lot faster than I wanted. With the Bretonian Cav free against my Spear One Riders, I will be retreating. I push up my melee infantry to take on their melee. Let's watch them fight. I am taking some heavy fire, but it's not as much as the Warlock Jezzails over here. Luckily for us, the Warlock Jezzails are sniping down all enemies. They're taking out the enemy lord, Karl Franz. With that, I've used all my javelins on my skirmish units, so I will be taking them into melee. I'm going to try to take down the archers here. I realize I can get a flank and do a hammer anvil, but it's much more important that I take out their ranged firepower. With this, it's only 4 minutes, and we have a solid lead over our enemy. Enemy spearmen versus my Skinks. My Skinks will win almost every time, as they are chevroned. And the Skaven successfully just pushes through the enemy front line and causes a mass rout. With the enemy lords off the field, the only thing left that the enemy have are their Bretonian cavalry chasing my poor little skirmishers, but luckily my skirmishers can fire on the move and poison them, so they're going to spend a lot of time chasing a unit that they really shouldn't, because they're going to take a lot of fire while chasing my units. Here comes the Warlock Jezzail sniping at the enemy cav. And they finally chase and catch my skirmishers, but it'll be too late. As, they can't do too much. My air corps is still in the field, a little bit hurt, but I'll just be cleaning up the enemy army. Enemy polearms are meant to fight my units, but it's too late. And with that, the entire enemy army will rout. Due to leadership problems, they have no lord. They've taken heavy army losses, and to be fair, they have nothing left to do. They took out, yeah, you took out my skink skirmishers. Congratulations. And even at that, they're still firing back. And with that, we have our win. I hope you liked the video. This is my first Total War Warhammer video, and yeah, look forward to more.